I wanna address the second thing you said because I do want to let Charming speak. You said something. You said you wanted me to address about the woman, me saying woman not qualifying for certain caliber of men.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of women have a very low shooting percentage for the men that they actually like and the men that they actually want. They have a very low batting percentage. Um, and that's exactly what I mean. The men that they actually like, the men that they actually want, the men that they would actually respect and appreciate. A lot of women don't qualify for those caliber of men. Those men don't desire those women. They don't show any significant minute interest in those women. Um, and a lot of these women, instead of looking in the mirror and taking accountability, and trying to self improve so they can get better results, they just try to make it seem like men are the problem. There's a lot of like women in their mid 30s to early 40s, single, childless, and they have no men of substance, no men that they deem to have substance at least, that are pursuing them for serious relationships. Um, and instead of being like, you know what, at one point in time, I did have men that wanted to make me the star player on their team, but I was young and I was a hot girl and I was getting all these attention from men, so I disregarded those men. And now when I don't look how I looked when I was 25, when I you know when I go outside and I'm amongst men, when I walk by, they don't turn their head and look at me. They don't stop me and say hi. They don't swipe up on my story. They don't hit me up in my DM. Now men are the problem. We just talking about the whole overweight thing. I'm overweight now. It's not that I'm the problem. It's men are the problem. So when I talk about not qualifying for the men that they want, that's exactly what I mean. The same way that there's men that don't qualify for the woman that they want. But I think most men that work at Menards and make $16 an hour, I think most men that work at Menards and make $16 an hour know not to know that they don't really have a good chance of some girl that works in big law in New York, or some girl that's a physician or a nurse or something. But for women, there's a lot of women that don't want to even deal with men that are on the same socioeconomic status level as them. They think they're better than them. But real life isn't giving them those results. They think they're her, but in reality, they're not her at all. And they're having a hard time accepting that. So that's what I mean when I say not qualifying for the men that they want. So they try to make it seem like there's just a lack of good men out here. There's a lack of men that are educated. There's a lack of black men that are actually making money and have careers. That's what I mean.
It's and the people that really understand and know and that I've experienced, it's not that it is necessarily a lack of good men. It's just the experience of interacting with good men. But you also brought up a really good point in, okay, well, she wanted to live her life and now she wants to settle down and now nobody wants her. But then at the same time, like I think the last person I was on just said, is that the man's ending up alone because he's sitting here messing around, playing his games and like having his fun, which, it would happen. So if it's going both ways, it's going both ways, right? And he's now ending up alone with nobody to account for. So
I
it's just women not being at the caliber.
I never said it doesn't go both ways. Yes, there's men that do the same thing. But I don't see I don't I me personally, I don't see any. Well, they got the Passport Brothers, and I'm not a Passport Brother, and I don't support them. And like that, for example, that's kind of like the female example. Like, we live in America. It's 50 states here. It's the District of Columbia. You got Puerto Rico. And if you can't find not one woman to get whatever program you got going on, or you think you got going on, that's not a woman problem. That's a you problem. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with women. You just don't qualify for the type of men that you actually want. And the reason and that's why you're not getting any attention from those men. That's why those men don't DM you. They don't stop you in public. They don't spit in your direction, and they don't look in your direction. Because at the end of the day, the universe gonna give you what you deserve, and there's a reason that you're not getting that. So women need to accept that I'm not her. I'm not that girl. And these men that are readily available for me and more than suitable for me, these are the men that I need to be entertaining, because those other men, those men that make $200,000 a year, they're not showing me any attention, and they're never going to show me any attention because I'm just not that girl. Unless I want to go self improve and improve my chances, but then it's still not guaranteed because nothing's guaranteed in life.
No, I
And
agree with that.
also, I know that a lot of times when we have these conversations and you have like these panels, and the focus, the topic is a woman, we may feel compelled to counter it with, well, is this something that's not applicable to a man? But like, we're all adults. We know that, the coin can flip on either side, right? But right now we're talking about women and why they may not have why they may have issues with getting the men that they're getting. It's not a conversation about why men have an issue, getting the women
Okay,
that they're
that's
getting.
fine.
But just because men aren't the focus doesn't mean that they are absolved of flaw, right? That's
So
just not what we're
the
talking about
women
right
aren't
now.
getting the high quality men because they're not being the high quality women in that scenario.
I do believe that's where he's getting at,
And
right?
then,
Or
so
there.
what is the definition of a high quality man? He said 200K. For what, like just now. So I guess I'm just curious.
I didn't
I feel
say
like
What's the high
I
quality
didn't
man?
equate anything
me
about high
yeah,
quality
me
man.
personally, I feel like it's subjective. So whatever essentially you're looking for, you have to equate to that in some sort of way. But if you don't equate to it, or you don't meet up to the standards that you're looking for from the opposite, then you can't expect that. And that's why they're disappointed, and essentially why they have to marry down, because their expectations are a 6'5" man or a man with no kids that makes 200K a year. It could be all subjective. One woman could be looking for a man that make 150K a year. Another woman could be looking for a man that make 5 million a year. So I feel like it's subjective. But if you're gonna look for that, and those are gonna be your standards, like, you need to be matching that. Essentially, you need to be a boss too. You need to
Mhm.
make sure, if you want a man that's got a good banging body and he in the gym, you need to have a good
That
banging
part.
body. A snatch waist and all this and that. But if
Can I
you
get some like character qualities? Like, money's fine, body's fine. At the end of the day, what do you have like
Well,
yourself?
But
honest,
men are
respectful,
I'm
visual
curious about
truthful.
that.
creatures.
You integral, meaning that they don't have to worry about you doing anything behind their back. You can always bring the truth to them. They feel comfortable with you. You patient with them. You 100 with them, and you tell it how it is in a respectful way. Things like that.
My whole point is it's not it has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with anything. It all comes down to whatever your standards is at the end of the day. There's a lot of women complaining that the men that they're dealing with, the men that are pursuing them, are not meeting their standards. And again, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So as a man or a woman, but we're talking about women right now. We know it goes both ways. We're talking about women. If you are not attracting the type of man or the type of men that you want, there eventually needs to come to a point where you go back to the drawing board and do some reconnecting of the dots. And you have to look in the mirror and say, why am I not attracting this? There must be a reason that I'm not attracting what I want. And the reason is you. It's not the men. So what I'm trying to say is there is a reason that you are not attracting the caliber of man that you want, and you are the reason, not men.
Okay, so
Can I say something real
do
quick?
Can
you
I can
like
I
have any?
can I chime in?
I'm
I've been
sorry.
kind of
Oh,
waiting.
okay, go ahead, Charmy. Go ahead, Charmy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah, yeah.
First,
Go ahead.
thanks for allowing me up here. So I did want to chime in on what's being said, in the sense that um sometimes, like, when a man moves on from a girl, and she sees the next girl he moves on to, she's like, why, what's so special about this girl, right? Like, she don't look better than me, or she's not this better than me. And it's not always, it's never 100% of the time about her body, right? Or how she looks. It's the character, right? And those kind of things are indescribable. You can't really say, like, you can't put a finger on it, like, what about this person makes me want to, what makes her peaceful to me. It's character. Like, you can't, like, because I know Black Widow's asking for qualities, but there's certain things you just cannot put into words about a person that will make you say, like, okay, this is a high quality person. Because we were talking, high quality was mentioned, and then I think high income was mentioned like right after. And high income does not equal high quality, because
Agreed.
you can find somebody who has like, who's ever was making the 6 7 figures, but they're abusive as hell. You know what I mean? So that does not make them a high quality individual, male or female, right? So it's it's the character that I think we are all looking for. It's the character that that brings the peace, that not necessarily brings happiness, because happiness, like was stated before, it's not a strong enough constant to be a measuring stick on a relationship, whether this relationship is successful or not. Happiness is too fleeting, you know. We go like I feel like society has really, really done a good job in brainwashing all of us to be more committed to work than our own marriages and relationships. And I say that to say because we will go to work unhappy for 6 years in a row. We
Mm-hmm.
will go to work depressed 6 years in a row. But we will go to work and our boss could talk crazy to us and we'll be upset, talk about quitting, but never quit. But,
But why don't we quit?
three, because we don't feel like there's an option, right? Like,
Because
we're
it's
talking about,
survival. We need the money, right? And we need money to buy food. We need money to put a roof
okay,
over our head. It's a
all right.
survival. It's survival based
Okay, hold on.
when you
So let
work.
me let me let me land. I agree. I agree. Yes, working is survival based, right? But when you get to the point, and this is me speaking, I don't have complete facts behind this, so this is my personal belief. But when you get to the point where you value your money over your relationships, I think that's the beginning of the end. In my opinion, that's my personal belief. I don't have any facts to back that up. So when you say it's survival based, like yes, I need this money. That's why I go to work when I'm depressed. But you also need your partner to be a successful person too, to be your best you. That's why I feel like you've chosen that person, right? Because this person is supposed to help you be the best person you can be, even when you're depressed, even when you're angry, even when you're not feeling them. You should still be able to put in that work in that relationship. You should see it just as detrimental as your job. There's so many times that people will take abuse from their jobs, right? Or they'll go to their jobs and they'll put on the happiest face. But when they come home, your partner gets the worst side of you. Why is that? It should not be that way, right? Because we have put work or our businesses or our bosses or our corporate above the family, and it should not be that way, right? So that's why yes, I understand that with the sentiment that yes, work is it's needed, it's a necessity, but so is your relationship. So is your partner, so is your husband and your wife, so is the mother of your kids, the father of your kids. That is a necessity too. You need to pour into them even more than your job. Again, I do not have like facts behind it. That is just my personal belief. That's something I've seen throughout society. I don't have any facts behind that, right? But I definitely believe that we have to pour more into our relationships than anything else, right? I think the reason that a lot of like women are like leaving because they're quote unquote bored is because options. We have way too many options, right? When you it's like if you give a child like if you give a child like two choices, right? They'll easily be able to make that choice. But if you put like 7 things in front of them, they're gonna be stuck. Like, okay, I don't know where to go. It's just too many things for me to choose from. Like, I don't, and too many options do not work for humans. It's just it does more harm than good,
But
right?
but
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, Charles, I just want to buzz in really quick.
Mm,
But that's people don't have as many. Well, at least I personally believe both men and women. But I think men are more realistic because women get way more attention than men do just on regular. But women don't have as much options as they think they do. Not for like this. I always say this. Women have a hard time discerning men that actually want them for like serious committed relationships and men that just want them for physical relations. And that's the same way that women think that they have more options, when it comes to dating than they really don't have a lot of men that actually want to pursue serious relationships with them. They got a lot of men that want to fuck them and will fuck them, give them the chance, but like these women know that a lot of these men that like hit them up and stuff don't really have serious intentions for them. But I don't know, they're just delusional and try to make it seem like that's not the case. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I agree in a sense because life does not hesitate to humble men. It does not. Like we can go out there and say, "Oh yeah," like if we go to the gym, right? And let's say, "Yeah, I'm the alpha, quote unquote alpha in the gym." Life would quickly, humbly would show you like, no, you're not. There's somebody else here that can bench more than you can do, that can do more than you can do, right? But women have this protection for them, like because again, that's just the way society has been built. Whereas they can feel like I want this person, and this person can show quote unquote that they want them, but it won't be till it's too late that they find out that they don't really want them. They just desire them, right? Like you said, they just want to sleep with them. It's not that I want you, right? And I think the moment that women start to realize, become knowledgeable of the fact that the difference between this man wants me and desires me, that's when they start to wake up. But unfortunately, like you said, it becomes when it's too late, to the point where like they've passed their quote unquote prime, right? And I think that's the issue.
And I'm gonna say something really quick, and then I'm gonna let you speak, Nikki, because I know you want to say something. And this is another thing that I've been saying as of recent, Charming, because I've been asking like girls about how much stock they put into a man and where a man takes them out, like on the first date or on the first connection or on the first link up, if you will. And I've been having a lot of girls tell me that like they're not doing no Starbucks, they're not doing no coffee date. Like a man needs to really show them that he really values them and that he really cares about them. And basically just saying like, they're putting they're putting a lot of stock into where a man takes them on the first date, as to like how much he really cares or values them. And I'm like, I could take you to Starbucks and be the most loving, caring, compassionate, considerate person to you, or I could take you to Fogo de Chao and treat you like shit. And then at the end of the day, what a lot of these women don't understand, even in 2023, because these women, a lot of these women got a price tag on themselves. I tell them all the time, all these women are for sale. It's just about who wants to invest in them or not. When you have a price on you and you let your price be known, not because a man is willing to invest in you and pay whatever, however much it costs to buy you, means that he's actually cares about you or that he's actually connected to you. I tell them all the time, y'all tell me this weekend, whatever y'all bought, what did y'all have an emotional connection to it? That Gatorade bottle, that food that y'all bought this past weekend, did y'all have an emotional connection to it? So if someone has the funds and they want to invest in you because to get what they want, then they're going to invest in you. That doesn't mean that they like you. That doesn't mean that they care about you. That doesn't mean that they want something serious with you. They're just investing in you because that's what your price is.